I'd like to reopen the Selectmen's meeting for December 19, 2022. We have returned from an executive session and we are returning to open session. This meeting is being broadcast over Zoom and in open session. Is there anybody else recording the meeting? Seeing none. Let's start. Pam, you have minutes for review. We have minutes for October 3rd. Appointed for Park and Rec, Susan Shuttleworth. Senior Center Building Committee. Reviewed the special town meeting. Board members have any issues with October 3rd?
I move approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes of November 14th. Kind of a short meeting, had a dog hearing. Or a chapter land. And reports on various things from board members and the town administrator.
Motion to approve November 14th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Next on the agenda, Shelley. We have a dog hearing for a concern with huskies owned by the Williams family. Shelley, could you come up? Don, I look at you as our resident expert for dog hearings. I'm going to pass the baton, the leash over to you.
All right, so we got. So I've had a number of complaints about the dogs, the husky running loose various times. And although they have not bitten anyone or threatened anyone that we know of, they are becoming a nuisance, and it's a danger to not only the animals, but to drivers if they're out in the road and have to swerve the animals. And we've tried to contact the owners. There's been some back and forth with that, I guess. And so we have three choices. We can do nothing. We can do a, what? Williams? Excuse me?
Okay.
Okay. No, but previously there, you didn't appear to.
We're recapping.
We're
before.
recapping what
Yeah.
happened before, okay? So we have three choices. Do nothing, declare the dog's a nuisance and require some certain things that to be done, or declare the dog's a danger, and that was some more drastic action, which I don't believe is the case, dangerous right now. So where are we, Shelley?
No, nuisance.
Nuisance,
Yeah,
okay.
yep.
So what's the status now?
The last time they got out was December 11th. But this is Mr. and Mrs. Williams and their son Larry.
Want to invite them up?
You guys want to come up to these mics here, and that way, because this is a conversation. This is not a, hey, we're down on you guys. We want to hear what you, we want a solution. We want to work what you wanted. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So Shelley, so last time and time before,
Was a week ago Sunday, December 11th. Yeah, that was the last time. And then before that, it's been several times. I don't have all the dates with me right now, but
and we're talking out of town not just local neighborhood, but these dogs are roaming.
Into Wilbraham too. Yeah, they've been up on Apple Hill.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're not roaming. We have put up a 6-foot fence around our whole house. We spent $14,000 for that fence to keep the dogs inside. They both have microchips. We have the Wi-Fi collar.
Mhm.
So it's not like we're just being neglectant of the dogs. They just get out.
And
Like,
we have a runner. They got off the runner like 2 or 3 times. But that was before we had got the fence. But now we have the fence and now they're getting over the fence. So that's-
Really?
They're smart. I don't know how else to put it, but as soon as we are alerted that they're gone, because all of us have it on our cell phones,
we're right out there.
we're looking for the dogs.
Sure.
And we don't stop looking until we find them.
I think
And
it's,
they're the nice people in Hampden, they actually help us.
I think it's important to
Yeah.
say, Don mentioned,
Yeah.
as Don mentioned and Shelley mentioned, they haven't been a danger to anybody except by the fact that they're in the road sometimes, they're in property, stuff like that, but they have not been a danger to people, so we appreciate that
They
part
don't,
there.
they definitely don't.
That's
bite,
okay.
I think
yeah.
the only danger could be
Traffic
traffic
and-
accident.
Right,
I
if
think
they
it
like
was.
run out into the street
Yeah,
or someone
yeah.
like throw on brakes or something, cause an accident, yep,
Yeah.
we get that, we
Right,
understand.
so,
Yeah, on
Then there's
December
serious consequences.
11th, they were almost hit a few times on East Long Meadow Road.
so,
Well, and do they jump over the fence? Do they?
Right over.
Really?
Yeah, because I go out there, because I'm puzzled, because my son and I, they used to dig underneath it and crawl underneath, so we filled the holes underneath. So I did a perimeter sweep around the yard, and I'm like, how did they get out? And I'm looking, I do it again, I'm like, I don't see how they're getting out. And then there was another time, because we have like a piece of the fence that's a wooden fence, and I say, hey, the only explanation is they're hopping over that wooden part of the fence. And that's the only thing I could come up with, because there's no way for them to pass through the fence. The gate's not open, and
And
that's really it.
We
I
have
don't know.
cameras around our house as well. So since last Sunday, we positioned the cameras so that way we could hopefully see how it is that they are getting out, because we are at a loss. We don't know.
how high is the fence?
It's about 6 feet. I don't know if
it's
it's
like
exactly.
over 6 feet, because I'm 6 feet tall.
Really?
The fence is taller than me, so it's a white fence, and it's pretty high.
Is it pretty consistent all the way around,
Yeah, it's
Shelley?
around the side. It's not in the front, but it's on the side house, and it goes
Yeah,
all the
to
way
the
to the
house.
back. Yeah, and it connects.
What side are you on? Are you on the Great Horse side or the other side?
I
The
guess
other
it's probably the
side.
other
The other
side.
side.
Near the
Okay.
golf course.
Yeah.
That's that side. So you're on the Great Horse side?
Yes.
Oh, I'm
Golf
sorry.
course.
I thought Gray Horse was the other side.
Well, they're both sides.
Yeah, right. The farm or the
Yeah.
golf course?
Golf farm or the golf course.
Thank
Okay,
you.
golf, okay.
So,
Do they, are you home when they get out or they?
My husband works
Yep,
from
I
home.
work from home, so yep, I'm
Oh.
home.
Actually, you said you've spoken to Larry.
There's two
son,
Larrys.
Who's Larry?
Both of them.
Both of us.
Okay, so
Oh, okay.
who's the
He's
one you
probably
normally
spoke to my son.
contact?
I contact him
Yeah.
and then, or he contacts me and tells them they're out because of the,
So
he
just
sees them on the
reading
camera.
off of the police
Yeah,
report that was filed,
Larry,
right?
the son.
Yeah, and it says you text Larry and he
Yep.
told him, and he once again told me his sister let him out and is refusing to go get them.
Yeah,
So does this happen a lot, that there's refusal to go get the dogs? Yeah.
Not necessarily. That particular day, she had to go to school. She goes to school at Westfield State. So she refused, but my husband and I were out looking.
Yeah, I'm the one who has to go chasing after.
Because she had to go to school. I mean, I'm not gonna have her miss
Yeah.
class and paying all this money for her to go get an education.
Right, I understand. My concern is if the dogs are getting out and it's been an ongoing thing and you know the dogs are scaling the fence now and getting out, and somebody's home and somebody's feels they're not responsible for the dogs, how far is this allowed to go
That's
without?
not the case, though. That's not the case. That was from my daughter saying that. That doesn't mean that myself or my husband works from home. He's home 24 hours a day. And then being a nuisance, what is the definition of a nuisance? Is it her definition of a nuisance?
no, it's the state.
There's a state
State
definition.
definition.
So, my concern is, like you said, the dogs aren't going to endanger somebody, but I'm concerned about the traffic problem that could run out in front of somebody. Somebody tries to swerve to avoid it. It's a kid on a bike that's running down the street. That's my concern. There's a safety concern. And I think we need to work on a little bit more who's in control, who's home, and who's responsible for the dogs themselves. If it's a family dog, somebody needs to take accountability for
Well,
the ownership of the
we
dog.
take accountability because.
I'm not saying you're not taking accountability, and it sounds like you're going out there searching for the dog
Oh,
when
yeah,
you're
I'm
home.
out there.
My concern is it's continued, and the safety threat is still there.
And you also said, Larry, that they had escaped from the runner a couple times as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we have a runner because, I forgot, what's your name again?
Shelley.
Shelly, yeah, because Shelly, the last time I spoke to her, she said, do you guys, I was like, yeah, we have a runner.
Mm-hmm.
But how are they escaping from that?
That's what, exactly.
Do you have like a collar, like a
Exactly.
martingale? That way they can't get out of it.
It's their FI collar that we have with the,
Yeah.
It comes with the hook on it, so I guess that's the only collar that we use. for
Well, if
the
you go to
dog.
Brown's, like AW Brown East Sun Meadow, they'll show you a collar that they can't get out of when you put them on a run,
Mhm.
or even leash walk them in the
harness.
backyard, you know, something. But you let them out, you know they're going to scale the fence, or you know they're going to get out. So you need to like either put them on a run that they're not going to get off, or leash walk them in the yard.
That's what I've been doing the past couple of times because he wakes me up like 6 o'clock every morning. So I just go out there with the leash and I just.
Dog's got to go, and
walk
the dog's
him,
got to
and
go,
then
right?
When he does his thing, I just go back
Yeah.
in the house with him.
And I don't want you guys to think that we're just like brushing off what you're saying, because we're not. Ever since then, my daughter and I have been taking to the dog park, letting them run, letting them get their energy out.
Mhm.
I have them set up to take training classes in January.
Mhm.
I don't know what else to do with
Well,
them.
Larry,
You said
when
they
they,
have
when you go look
collars.
for them, and you see them, did they respond to you?
Yeah.
They say, come back?
Luca's hard-headed.
The boy, he'll
He's
go the opposite
hard-headed.
direction,
Yeah,
but the
'cause-
girls, she'll come.
Luca will see me, he'll come, he'll stop for a second, I call him Luca, he'll take off. Cause that's what he did last Sunday. There was like, maybe 5 ladies helping me get him because one, she actually had a lease and it was in a van trying to, convince him. And then another nice lady asked, do you want to treat the trying to get him? I was like, he's not even gonna come. I was like, he's hard-headed. So eventually, my son came and got him. And he listens to my son more than he does to me. But he like just
As
take
far as the
off.
collars, are they invisible fence collars or are they electric, buzzer?
No, neither one, just regular collar,
They're
just.
like GPS satellite.
Yeah.
Oh, so, okay, so they're
Satellite.
located. So there's
Yeah,
no
located
collar that's going to
collar.
keep them in the yard, like an invisible fence or anything like that.
That's the
No.
next thing that we're gonna do.
I know those aren't cheap either, but
I mean, what suggestions do you guys have? I mean,
so based on what I'm
Yeah.
hearing, my suggestion would be invisible fence and leash at all times, whether it's a heavy duty run, 1/2-inch rope,
mhm.
something that they're not going to pull or break. Shelley had mentioned different types of collars. I had a coonhound that would always break runs, so I had to get a harness and a heavy duty 1/2-inch lead that wouldn't pull through. So some of those things could mitigate getting loose. And I think we're all, as a board in town, we're concerned about the continuousness of the safety factor that getting out is going to lead to. And I'm not saying you guys are neglecting by any means. I'm just saying we're just concerned. And that's what this conversation's about.
And I'm sure we're not the only owner of pets where their pets get out. But
no.
what we're saying here in this meeting is that our dog gets out more than the average person's dog. Is that pretty much?
Well, and also you mentioned you do have a bit of loss of control. You have the one male dog.
Yeah,
It's
he's
sometimes
hard-headed.
difficult to get back. He's
He's
hard-headed.
hard-headed, yeah,
We want to work with you. As Craig said, there are options. I mean, you could extend the fence up, but again, you have a home. You want to look good as well, and putting another 2-foot extension on the top might not look good. But you also have
More
a
like a
responsibility to the neighbors in the neighborhood. Nobody has complained that your dogs are vicious, and that's a credit to you all. We thank you for that. But they can be a danger, as Craig said, to traffic,
Right.
things like that. So you see a couple dogs, we might swerve out of the way. How can we work together and get this done? We don't want to come back here. We really don't. The collar is, I think, an excellent idea that Craig and Shelley have made. Better job with the run. Failing that, electric fence or a higher fence is where we're gonna have to go.
Where did you mention? You said Brown?
Brown.
AW Brown's, it's a pet food. store
Shaker
in
Road in
East
East
Long
Long
Meadow.
Meadow.
Oh, these ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a great store.
Yep,
You could bring the dogs right with you and
Yeah.
try the collars on.
right. Or Petco even, or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Browns is good. They'll help you with,
Yeah.
select
Sounds
something.
is very good.
Yeah.
very hands-on.
Like I said, a harness with a leader on it of some sort and just a heavy duty run, whether, you're doing a 100-foot run. The silver one has got the higher tensile strength. The green ones and the red ones are really weak. They're going to break on you.
Yep.
Okay.
So
But you just can't
I'm know
put-
from experience.
So we have-
Okay.
Put them on a harness or a collar that they're gonna
All right.
slip out of.
Yeah.
That's the
So
whole thing.
to,
Can I just ask one
Sure.
question? How big are the dogs?
Luca, he's like that.
80 pounds, 100
80
pounds?
pounds?
Less?
No, not even, like
No.
50.
50?
Got
Super friendly. That, oh my gosh, if they're
Oh.
here, they jump right on you and start licking you.
well, it sounds like jumping isn't a problem. If they're scaling that 6-foot fence, they go pretty good. They got serious hops in them. So where do we go from here? We're recommending the collar, and I think that's the action we have to recommend to you at this point. You know, we don't want to come back here, and I think taking action on the collar, letting Shelley check that out, we'd like to see that done within a couple of weeks.
When you
Okay.
say collar, you're talking about harness style, keep them,
Harness
keep
style,
them,
exactly.
keep them
On the run so
on a
they don't
tether.
break the run,
Right.
basically.
And then the second
Yeah.
choice would be invisible fence.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. It's a pleasure meeting you,
Yeah,
by the way.
nice
you.
meeting you guys.
Thank
Great,
you.
thanks for
I'm
coming
glad
down.
your dogs
Thank
are
you.
safe and the
Yeah.
community's enjoying it.
Yeah,
Do you
they-
want to meet?
And
me
as
at
you're
the
chasing them, you're seeing
house?
some wonderful neighborhoods
Well,
too, yeah,
that's why-
right.
That's why I told the police officer
I
when they
can
gave
do
us
the
the
house
paper to show up here.
Yeah.
I was like, dog, you're like super friendly. We have awesome neighbors that always help us, you know, get out. They're like, oh my gosh, that Joe. We had a few times where we had the neighbor, they brought another husky, I guess, because he thought that it looked like Luca,
Yeah.
but it wasn't even Luca. And he brought it to our house. He's like, oh,
Is this your dog? You're
He's
like, that's
"Oh,
not
no,
my dog."
He's right here.
He's right.
He's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, he's right here. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. He said, I'm so sorry. But I was like, yeah, thank you, though.
Thank you for the thought.
Yeah, I don't need another, yeah,
Good
thanks.
looking
I
out.
just thought that was funny. I was like, wow.
And your son's like, no, don't give me another one. My hand's full.
All right,
All right, thank you.
All right,
good. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
thank you, guys. Thanks for coming in. Have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
No, you have it. He lost his agenda.
Yeah.
And with your fine.
On the OneDrive, John.
A second ago.
We got lease for the National Grid.
May I ask
transfer
for-
Okay.
station.
So license for National Grid. So National Grid needs a easement to provide obviously a higher transmission rate from the solar array. So they need to put some poles up. This requires an easement from the town, and because it's municipal land, it needs a town meeting vote for that. What can be done prior to that is that we can issue a license for them, a temporary license, until town meeting time. They'd be taking a bit of a chance. What if town meeting turns it down? I would have to say, we're kind of invested in this right now. Obviously, we're taking lease payments. We plan on taking additional payments. We need them to turn them, at that point. So what they're looking for is the board to approve a temporary license for National Grid at the transfer station for the installation of poles to service the upcoming solar installation.
Excuse me. This has been vetted by the town council?
Yes, and work with Liz Simons at, yeah. And I think you see Bob as well. Bob has been in the loop on this whole thing, so.
So there's a couple documents on the OneDrive.
Yep, the next one is the notice of release.
Notice of lease. That's the one. Okay.
Second thing on the landfill notice.
Oh, all right.
Okay. The rest of the cookies are down there too, Don.
Grant of lease to National Grid?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just trying. Is Bob coming tomorrow? Fine. Is that Zooming? Is that Zoom?
No. We don't have a Zoom operator.
That must be it. Take your son home from school, maybe he can, what are they doing, half day on Thursday, or what is it? Yeah, typical.
Well, that dog talk, I got a fur ball.
Yeah, really, I see crumbs
That
down.
happens, yeah.
All right, so I'm looking for a motion to approve a temporary license for National Grid at the transfer station. And obviously, we'll let Bob know to put this on the, in the file for town meeting action.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
All right.
The landfill notice of lease. We both have that in the OneDrive there.
Is the other document there? You got hard copies. You gotta sign them.
All right. All right. Notice of lease. Did you say change? Is there any change? What?
It's all the same stuff, right?
It's all the same stuff, yeah. I don't think we ever signed it.
Oh,
I think it's had something to do with they finally went out for their financing and the bank required a more formal document,
So what are we looking for?
just authority for the chair to sign.
okay. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
I move to allow the chair to sign the lease agreement in Amoresco.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. On the agenda, Craig, thank you.
That's my agenda, by the way. You come prepared.
You'll have
You
it.
need a pen?
It's down in the other room.
All right.
Okay, so we have the customary annual licenses. Pam, we saw the list of used car licenses. Some have completed their paperwork and some haven't, I think I saw. Mhm.
And there were a couple that have not filed their renewal information, and I didn't add them.
That's fine.
I figured I'd do that.
All right. So everything has gone out to them. We've checked the bonding and we're waiting for them to come back with their proof of bonding, et cetera.
Yes,
Yeah,
everything
right.
that's in that folder.
Right,
It's
right.
good to go.
The ones that are done.
It's been vetted.
So we have a list of, and all these look familiar, that we've seen them all before. 9 between Ferrara Auto Sales, DJ's Automotive, A to C Auto Sales, Hampden Trading, Reen Motor Services, Fox Motorsports, Max Auto Sales, Northeast Automotive. I would look for a motion to grant licenses subject to all receipt of all documentation. As we see, one still needs a query. So
Right.
They don't get it until we provide that, but that would be an appropriate motion, subject to receiving all documentation and fees.
I move approval of the 8 automobile licenses, subject to receiving all fees and completion of all applications, the Cory applications.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So you'll follow up, there's still Corby's, Hampden Auto Sale, FC Auto Sales, and Safe Auto Sales that still need documentation provided. All right. What was it? One we had a question about where they were located, that Mac one.
Yeah, yeah.
No, Reen is the guy who was in Florida.
Reen,
wasn't
yeah.
he?
Reen's good,
Yeah.
Florida.
All right, second, we have the liquor license renewals. And at this point, this is just like the same ones as every year. La Cucina, Mountain View Drive-In, Hampden Discount Liquors, Hampden Grog Shop, Great Horse, Gio's Pizzeria, La Casa Bella, and the VFW.
And
Village
the-
Food Mart is not in the list as they are going through an ownership change and obviously associated paperwork with the state.
And all of them have had their fire inspection and their building inspection. Correct. And the 304 has been filed.
Okay.
Okay, I move approval of the list read by the chairman.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We have entertainment licenses, which consist of, we've received 3. We would suggest to Pam and Bob that they go back, and there seemed to have been a change in times requested by one of the applicants. And if they want to proceed with that, we'd like them to come to the board and explain the change in time, so we can see if it's correct with the neighborhood. We have an application for Great Horse and an application for La Cucina de Hampden House. This is for the standard entertainment license. It is not the Sunday license, which has been given to Great Horse in the past. So.
I believe status quo is last year, correct? Nothing.
Status quo, correct. The, for instance, Great Horse outdoor would be only until 9 o'clock. Indoor would be until 12 with doors closed. Again, there have been some concerns expressed by neighbors. We have directed them to have the police go up and check, or I should say dispatch has directed them to go up and check, and I do not believe it followed any further. They did not find an issue, or that has been reported back to the board.
There was a report in the.
Right, right. And the chief is recommending issuing the entertainment license again. I don't believe we have any issues reported with La Cucina this year. The year
Nothing,
before we
there's
had
nothing
something,
there,
yeah,
yeah.
right. And they are looking for inside till 10 and outside till 9 for that patio area.
Move approval of the entertainment licenses for Great Horse and La Cucina.
As
Yes.
presented. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then you're working with the chief on well, you're working with the applicant, the chief on the Sunday renewal. Because pretty soon they're running out. Sunday is New Year's. Yeah, so their license expires at 12. They don't, I don't know if they plan on anything the following weekend, but they're not having anything on that Sunday until they get, and we're not
Gonna be-
meeting again until the 3rd. So they better get their stuff together.
It'll be
Okay.
Happy New Year.
FYI.
Yeah, reach out to Brian.
Happy New Year, get out of here.
Yeah. Nice.
Well,
Okay.
12 o'clock.
Let's
that's true,
see.
that's true, yeah.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Cinderella. We have noticed that the annual closing of the cemetery is taking place this month.
So
Hmm.
they do that every year?
Yeah, but they,
Usually wait for the first snow, but
or freeze, if you will. Yeah,
And
it's a
what's,
little early.
what's the thought process behind that?
Basically, yeah,
What if somebody wants to visit a loved one?
go ahead. It's just, it's the only thing they're closing is burials.
Burials,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
When they say close, I'm assuming you
No,
can't
they're-
gain entry.
no, no, yeah,
I don't know, do they continue to plow?
yes.
Okay, that was my question.
So it's barely just, and there have been occasions where if it's a town resident with, they'll work it out with somebody, but this is just general practice. And we're not the only town that does it either. Yeah. I think if you go to, what's the one on Parker, Hillcrest or Gates of
Hillcrest.
Heaven? They have a mausoleum there. I think they hold them until, yeah.
We have a
right.
crypt down there, don't
Who are you gonna call?
we?
All right, Whip City. Craig, give us an update.
Just a quick brief update. Pam, Bob, and I met with Whip City of our monthly meeting last week. Poll applications and the poll inspections are continuing. We're still waiting on the agreements with Verizon and National Grid. I believe Rose has both of them. National Grid has been receptive. Verizon is still MIA. They haven't gotten back to us, and I guess that's the case Whip City has seen across every town they worked on. Verizon just drags their feet.
Yeah.
So we really need to get both of them going. They did say, though, after the poll inspection is complete, that there is a 6-month window that the application process is good for.
All right.
Which concerned me because now we're getting close to town meeting. And normally we don't like to make those big decisions at fall town meeting.
Right.
So we either need to push to get everything done before annual town meeting. to see if we want to go into phase 2, and that's going to
Right.
require bonding
Right.
and a lot of informational sessions. Or we do a special town meeting in the fall and make
Mhm.
sure it's completely transparent,
Just that,
Right.
right?
just that. So that's where we're at with that right now. We
Okay.
should know more next month with our next meeting. If all the selectmen would like to attend that, I mean, it's very informational.
No decision, just informational.
It's just
basically,
informational
right?
stuff, yeah.
Okay.
We could post for it too with enough notice,
Yeah.
but I would encourage both of you to kind of attend to see where we're at with that.
One other thing to bring up, we do have, I think there's a housing authority meeting this week. As Don mentioned before, we have noticed that one of the current members is not going to run next year, but that's really no action for
Yeah.
the board at this point. Although we haven't had much luck getting anybody to run for that. That's been a tough one. The other thing is if you could work with Eva, Don's mentioned this in the past, end of year, we want to make sure is the COI and the ethics things are up to date.
Mm.
Because that works on the calendar year, not the fiscal
Fiscal
year.
year, right?
Well,
So-
it's in highway. Sent theirs.
I don't think they've requested us or anything. So
Yeah.
some are 2-year and some are 1-year, I believe, right?
The training, I think, is.
Training is every other year, but I think you have to sign off that you got
Right.
a summary, seen their summary.
And
Well, she's been.
I know, but I mean, that should be sent out or whatever. I did speak to one of the attorneys about open meeting law and things like that. And I said in the past, we've had training done by Doherty. They sent someone down here. But the Attorney General's office also offers outriders, if you
Mhm.
will. And I said perhaps they'd come out for a multi-town type thing. Since Doherty does represent East Long Meadow, Ludlow, and Hampden, perhaps by bulking them all together, even if it was a webinar, I think that's a thing we should be offering every board member, committee member, employee. It's so easy to run afoul. So they're going to work on getting something like that together. Don, maybe with your contacts at the AG's office,
Well, we have a new Attorney General, Andrea Campbell.
Mhm. She was the former DA though, right? Was she?
No, she's a former city council. But as luck would have it, she was an intern of mine in the Middlesex DA's office.
Nice.
Still got her phone number?
I
Hey,
do. Also made some contributions to her campaign, so she better return the call.
oh boy. All right. So when Bob gets back, and we certainly hope that he has done a great time fishing down in New Zealand, we're going to go hot and heavy in the new year. We have a lot of projects
A
in
lot
front
of
of
projects
us.
coming up we need to, yeah.
Water project, et cetera. More action on the fire station. Hopefully we'll have a report from Jeff where we stand with that, Tectron, And to start getting a list together for town meeting. One thing that, remember, I got to keep on the radar is that we're going to need a contribution towards the match for the fire truck. And that's going to be
Not a match.
well, our match of the part,
Right.
10,000 versus
It's like
there, whatever, but
10,000, yeah.
Just real quick, transfer station is closing at 2:00 on Saturday for anybody that normally goes. Just plan accordingly
I'm
because
just going to leave my stuff in your driveway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Christmas Eve, and then Water Commission's meeting tomorrow
Okay.
on my end.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to bring up the article and reminder. And I think that at some point, the selectmen have to address the accusations made by Attorney Pill, also here and in the court case.
Okay,
I
can we
think
do
it's
that? Can we
important.
do that first meeting when Bob is back? I
Yeah,
think
it's fine. That's just,
all
but I think it's important.
I
that
haven't had a
we-
chance to read it. I'd like to go online.
I think it's important we set the record straight.
Okay, let's put that
And we've
on
gotten
for,
a couple of letters from individuals too as
okay,
well.
let's
so.
put that on for January then.
Okay.
Thank
First
you.
meeting in January, we can,
Yeah.
when Bob's back.
Yeah, at this point, I think the board is not looking for any meeting next week with the short week unless the matter we have with Anjali Kumar representing us has something that requires us to meet. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah, we have no other permits, correct, right?
If they come up with that one, but I mean, that's all on them,
Have you signed all of them?
We will by tomorrow. Yeah,
What about the easement?
I'll sign that. I'll
Release,
stop
yep,
down tomorrow and
yep.
get all this stuff, yeah.
I have a question.
I wasn't sure if you were stretching. Go ahead, Tad. Okay, I can look.
I just want to say that the comment about the fixes in comments in the paper, you might want to get with the board, the planning board, because they finished up their response to the judge tonight.
Mhm.
I think they finished it, it's gotta get typed up. That's due to him early in January.
Right.
Seems to me that you'd want to make some kind of shot across the bow, at least have some kind of response to this judge or to someone in power about the comments that he made in his write-up. And he's going to make a decision sometime in January. I'm just saying that that's, you know, pushing against the deadline. It seems to
Okay.
me. My own feeling is for him to write that down in his decision to go back to the town almost negates any decision that he goes unless it's tainted by what he said.
Mm.
That's, the point is, there's deadlines. So I think, excuse me, you'd want to at least double check it.
Okay, Tad, thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Anything else to come before the board?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
There's like no pause there. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, what's up?